Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today on this very fun special occasion. It is time to review Deadpool and Wolverine. I just saw it in the theater, just got back right now. It is 12:39 p.m. here on the East Coast, and I just wanted to get on and review this thing for you guys and talk about it a little bit. I'm going to keep spoilers to a minimum, but I will have some spoilers in this video. So be warned before you go forward. I'm not going to go into too much spoiler stuff, but it will probably come out just talking about the movie and my thoughts and all that stuff. So let's get into it. All right, so Deadpool and Wolverine. This movie moves very, very quickly. We start with Deadpool, kind of a little recap of the stuff going on. He's kind of on his own, sort of. He doesn't really have any super close relationships, and he feels like kind of a loner, a loser. You know, he lost Vanessa. He doesn't really have a lot of the other group that he assembled in Deadpool 2, besides Peter, who shows up now and then in the film. But Deadpool is kind of just, he has a very small, tight-knit group. Some of the X-Men from Deadpool 2 show up, and they have like kind of this little birthday party for him. This is, I think, stuff they showed in the trailer. But he's really feeling like he's not a standout. He's having a hard time grappling. I mean, his big thing is losing Vanessa. He didn't feel like he was able to hold it together enough to keep her, and he didn't really know what to do with the abilities he was given. So you get on this whole quest of him trying to figure himself out, but then there's a whole thing with the TVA and timelines and the Fox timeline, and that's kind of what sets the bigger story in motion. That's why Logan and Wolverine gets involved, because Deadpool needs Wolverine to help save the timeline, because Wolverine is, I forget the exact term they use, but he's this kind of focal point of the universe that holds it together. And without Logan, Wolverine, the universe is good as done. So the first thing you really see, and again, going into a little bit spoilers here, is Deadpool going to find Logan to bring him back so that his universe won't die, the Fox Marvel universe. So he goes to the grave of Logan that died in Logan from, I think, 2017. That movie came out, which I thought it was a lot more recently, and I learned that it was, almost 7 years ago Logan came out, which is insane. So he goes, finds the grave of the Logan that we knew and loved, and everybody else loved, and he's dead. So he needs to go find other Logans to help, bring back and save his universe. So he goes, there's all this stuff that happens where he's on the hunt for other Logans, and there's some really cool points in there, and some unexpected stuff that happens during that little journey. But he eventually finds the one that we know, the Logan, Hugh Jackman, kind of with the yellow suit that we've been seeing in all the promotional material. And so they go on their journey to save the universe. And this Logan, we see it in the trailer. Something happened in his universe, and he kind of dropped the ball. And there's like a whole thing with alcoholism there. And obviously we know Wolverine has always kind of had back and forth an alcohol thing, depending on the version of him we've seen. But this one really dropped the ball. And I've read a lot of Wolverine stuff throughout my life. I wouldn't say I'm in any stretch of the imagination a Wolverine expert, but I do love the character. I grew up watching the animated series. That's my Wolverine. So is Hugh Jackman. I think, grew up watching both of those Wolverines. So those are my Wolverines for sure. And I think Hugh Jackman does an incredible job at Wolverine. It's going to be so hard to replace Hugh Jackman, because he is Wolverine. He is so good, so synonymous with this character at this point. He's been playing it for nearly 24 years, which is insane to be the amount of times you play one character for 24 years. And we had a good send-off in Logan, and I feel like him coming back for this, it just felt good. It just felt so good to me. It's something about it's. I don't think it's even nostalgia because he hasn't been gone that long. So it just feels like you just keep wanting more of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I think Marvel Universe being what it is, and we're still in multiverse phase for now. I think we might get some more Logan, but the story overall, Cassandra Nova is our main villain, Charles Xavier's sister. Didn't love that whole thing that she's kind of the one that's masterminding this whole plot to destroy all the realities. It never really felt the weight of her being a villain. She had some cool moments, some very strange, funny moments, but she felt overall not a very intimidating or high stakes villain. We knew that this is only the beginning of Deadpool in the MCU, so not a huge deal with her being there. Not a huge threat either. The real beauty of this film is Deadpool, Wolverine duking it out, arguing. It really is like a buddy cop kind of film. There's a lot of cool cameos. I saw some reviews saying it was a cameo fest. I didn't feel that way. I actually thought there would be way more cameos than there were, and I think the cameos that they did have some of them were funny. Some of them I was pretty psyched to see and didn't expect some of them, and felt like they actually fit the tone of this world in a big way. So I was pretty happy with the cameos. Didn't feel like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where it felt more fan servicey in that movie and kind of silly, and it didn't really fit the tone of that film. But the ones that they introduced here or brought in, I think made sense, and they had their moments, and they served a purpose to help the characters, our two leads, move on. And I really enjoyed what they did with some particular cameos. Again, not as much as you might think there is, and not much as we were led to believe. There was a lot of rumors and speculation about all these people that would be in this film. It is a lot more contained, in my opinion, than I thought it was going to be. I was also expecting like all these crazy cameos, but it was relevant to the film. It was contained. It was characters that I felt like fit the vibe of what they were going for. And I really appreciated them taking that take. Sean Levy, the director, I think did a fantastic job with this one, directing Hugh and Ryan. I mean, the marketing behind this, everybody always talks about the marketing. Really good. Obviously, they hyped this movie up a lot, but I think the movie delivers. I think it's a solid Deadpool movie. I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan in the world. I think some of that humor is not really my style. I'm a little bit more flat, dry humor. Deadpool humor is super on the nose and silly and kind of gratuitous and stuff like that, which is, people were having a ball with a lot of those jokes. They kind of missed me. I mean, I liked a lot of the more awkward, strange dialogue moments than like the overt jokes. The audience loved it. It hit for them. Not all the jokes hit for me, but I felt like these two guys were having a good time. Again, I'm a bigger Wolverine guy, so I was super psyched to see Wolverine back in action. I love the yellow suit. I think, again, big animated series fan, so wanted to see that yellow suit back in action, and it looked glorious. And he dons the cowl at one point, and I think it really hit. But the whole thing of this movie is kind of the heart of this movie is kind of found family stuff. As with a lot of superhero stuff, it's about kind of the family you bring together and the people that are there for you, in day out, and love and friendship. It's all that kind of thing. But I think it does a good job at doing all that. Again, solid Deadpool movie. Didn't blow me away. Hugh Jackman still brought the fire. I thought Hugh Jackman was pretty fantastic. Again, seemed like he didn't miss a beat with Wolverine. This character he just has down pat. Again, playing it for almost 25 years. And just to go into a little bit more about what this movie means for the future of the MCU, this is a pretty like cold entry of the X-Men into the MCU. There wasn't anything overt, like, hey, this is our new X-Men, like, get ready. We just have, Cassandra Nova, Charles. I mean, we have a lot of X-Men here. And obviously the X-Man, they even say, you are the X-Man. We have it with Wolverine. And I think to set up Secret Wars, I don't think this is the last of Hugh Jackman that we're going to see in Deadpool and Wolverine. I think we're going to see Hugh Jackman again in Secret Wars. And I think we're going to see a lot more cameos in that one than we saw in this one. Again, spoilers. I was really hoping we would see Halle Berry's Storm, because I always thought she was one of the best parts about those movies. And I love Storm as a character. I want to see Storm. So hopefully she is in Secret Wars, and we'll get more of this duo, and we'll see Hugh Jackman, who I think deserves to have a real impression in the MCU, not just the Fox universe, to kind of cement him in the Disney verse, Logan in the Disney verse as well, which I think is why they'll keep him on board for maybe one or two more movies, maybe the event, and then slide into the MCU's X-Men proper. But I think this is a good way to say, hey, this Logan is a different Logan, but, it's Hugh Jackman. We still have him for now. Hugh Jackman's 55. There's a lot of jokes about him being old, but he's still got the fire. I mean, there's a shot of his abs in one of the scenes, and Hugh Jackman is doing fine. Hugh Jackman is doing fine. He looks great. He's super physical. A lot of the fights were fantastic. There's one fight, again, my favorite fight in this film is one that they do in a Honda, I think a Honda Odyssey or something. That fight was great, hysterical. I love things that take place in a car. So that kind of was right up my alley. Absolutely love that. So I think we're going to have Hugh Jackman for a little while longer, which some people think, it's time to move on. I think Hugh Jackman, because he was Wolverine for such a long time, is the best way to move into this new phase of the X-Men, unless Hugh Jackman just stays on. And he's like, I mean, not to relate it to DC, but, at the end of The Flash, they said Jason Momoa was Aquaman in every timeline or every universe or whatever. I feel like Hugh Jackman is Wolverine in every universe and every timeline, maybe except for one or two or something like that. It feels like he might be around a little bit longer. Again, maybe one or two of the new Avengers movies. But I don't know. That's just me thinking, just going by what happened in this film. But he brought the fire. He's still great. Ryan Reynolds nailed it too. But it's hard to beat Hugh Jackman. He's just, I don't want to gush about him too much, but it's just so much fun watching him play this character. Even after all these years, it's still entertaining to me. But I'm going to wrap it up there. I think this was a solid film. I really enjoyed it. Again, a lot of the reviews are all over the place. Cameo Fest. I don't think so. I think it was pretty balanced. Everybody had a role. Some of it was a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think, they gave people things to do. The dynamic between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, obviously this has been a relationship that's been going on for a long time, and this movie was a long time coming, and I think they nailed it, and it felt pretty sweet, all in all. It's fantastic soundtrack. I was jamming to the soundtrack of The Little Note. Great music in this film. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think of Deadpool and Wolverine in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, do all that stuff. Let me know what you think of the movie and what it might mean for the future of the MCU. Thanks for watching.